one day somebody does something unspeakable to someone else, to someone you hardly knew, and you do something about it because you can.
We get this story from WTTW News. The Chicago police officer who punched a 17-year-old in August 2019 in what investigators ruled was an unjustified use of excessive force, and he called a black man who was filming the altercation boy, will not be fired, according to documents obtained by WTTW News. You hear that? Instead, Officer Michael Bryant should be suspended for 25 days. Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling determined, rejecting the recommendation from COPA, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, to fire Bryant for his actions on August 7, 2019, near Oak Street and Cambridge Avenue in Cabrini Green. That's a complex that's operated by the Chicago Housing Authority. Now, while Bryant committed misconduct during the incident, his actions were not so egregious as to warrant separation, Snelling told the head of the agency tasked with investigating police misconduct, better known as COPA, in an April 8, 2024 letter. While COPA leaders could have asked the Chicago Police Board to resolve the dispute over whether Bryant should be terminated or suspended for 25 days, Chief Administrator LaKenya White agreed to accept Snelling's recommendation of discipline and close the probe on May 13th of this year. Bryant, who declined to comment, could appeal his 25-day suspension to an arbitrator. Bryant earns $115,158 annually, according to the city's database. Bryant is assigned to the Chicago Police Department unit, designated to patrol public transit, according to a statement from CPD spokesperson. The incident began August 7th, just before 7 p.m., 2019, when officers monitoring police cameras observed an individual with what they believed to be a handgun, according to COPA's report. The teen was not identified by COPA, in keeping with its rules. He's a juvenile, I guess. When Bryant arrived on scene, he pointed his weapon at a group of black men and pursued the teen officers suspected of having a gun, according to COPA's report. After the teen surrendered after a brief foot chase, Bryant used his first fist to strike the teen in the head while detaining him while using profanity, according to COPA's report. Yeah, that's professional. Once the teen was in handcuffs, Bryant left the area to search for his department-issued baton as a crowd gathered and began objecting to his actions. Yeah, they didn't like the fact that he punched his kid. It is not clear from COPA's probe how Bryant became separated from his baton, because he's an idiot. Officer Bryant approaches a black male holding a cell phone. The male asks Officer Bryant a question, and Officer Bryant responds, "Effing jag off with a gun, F you," according to COPA's report. Officer Bryant proceeds to push the cell phone out of his face. Officer Bryant walks off from the male, and the male follows him. The male asks Officer Bryant for his badge number, and he responds, "Get that camera out my face, boy." Calling an adult black man boy is considered a racial slur used before and after the Civil War as a way to remind black men they were not considered the equal of white men. Now, in 2010, the U.S. Supreme Court agreed that the use of the word could serve as evidence of racist intent and discrimination. It could be a hate crime. Bryant told officers he did not punch the teen, despite video captured by officers' body-worn cameras showing him punching the teen with a closed hand, according to COPA's probe. I didn't punch him. My arm went out. When Bryant struck him, there was no evidence that the teen was actively resisting arrest or posed a threat to officers. And COPA concluded finding Bryant used excessive force in violation of department policy. However, Snelling concluded Bryant would have been justified in striking the teen, either with a closed fist or open hand, because he could have reasonably believed the teen was attempting to reach for the gun police suspected he had in his waistband, according to response to COPA. That's their response. Snelling also said Bryant should not be disciplined for pointing his gun at the group of men in the courtyard, which Copa found to be in violation of department policy. Instead, Bryant should be suspended, bad boy, for 25 days for attempting to strike the cell phone from the man's hand and for calling him boy and for directing profanities at the teen and the group of bystanders. Yeah, I'm having trouble breathing. I don't know why. Copa determined that Bryant lied to investigators and department leaders when he told them he struck the teen with an open hand, not a fist. So he said, I didn't punch him. I just, However, Copa did not prove that Bryant punched the teen, Snelling concluded, according to records. Chicago Police Department's Rule 14 prohibits officers from lying to department officials and on official forms. Really? There's a policy for that? Those who violate that rule are subject to termination. Said it would be absurd for police officer Bryant to go to such lengths to lie repeatedly on official police reports and in statements given to Copa, knowing the jeopardy that Rule 14 violation would place him in over-justified, authorized, and reasonable use of force. However, Copa concluded that Bryant appeared to provide false or inaccurate statements regarding this incident. False or inaccurate. And that was during their probe. And concluded his actions demonstrated an intent to deceive. This demonstrates significant issues with Officer Bryant's credibility more generally, said Copa. Now, former Inspector General Deborah Witzberg found in a May 2023 audit that more than 100 Chicago police officers who lied while on the job were not fired in defiance of decades of pledges from city officials who said they have zero tolerance for officers who make false reports. And I'm going to stop there. It's almost done, right? No, it goes down. It's pretty lengthy. If you go to the description box, click that link there, you can read the whole thing in its entirety. But the bottom line is, and let's backtrack here, you got these leaders who say, we have zero tolerance for lying in our department. You're gone. But yet all these officers that are filing false reports, this Bryant who Copa says lied, and Snelling says, why would he lie if he knew he was going to get fired? Because he's a cop. He says, I didn't punch him. I just kind of, my arm went out and slapped him. What do you think? Let me know, guys.